Okay, YouTube, continuation or starting to install the Excel exhaust. This one, like I said before, it's an RB race version. It's actually coming with all of the pictured or basically on the video. Um, the extension here and the actual exhaust with the baffle silencer type thing. It actually has the baffle there or part of it. Uh, with also another piece that will actually silence the exhaust. Apparently this is like super loud. So you can see it's hollowed. There's really nothing in there. So I would think compared to the exhaust that the original still attached to the bike is gonna be, I would think, pretty loud. Haven't heard it yet, so this one actually paid close to $370. Free shipping directly from iXil. So it came with the instructions, the hardware, even the spring puller, which is actually unusual to see that. The tools here, it's a 13 millimeter socket, some wrenches. This one I believe is a number 6. I think this one is a number 4 used for the heat shield here, and 13 wrench. Basically, the only thing you have to remove it's from here, which you could see. Okay, there's a bracket there, right there, and it goes all the way to here. So this gets removed, then replaced by these two pieces here. Pretty simple. You don't have to get under the bike or dig around anywhere in there. Like the RC390, you have to undo some stuff in there. So, but anyways, this bike is pretty simple. It's new. Everything's new. Nothing's dirty. So it makes it pretty simple. Hands not dirty at all because it's a new bike. Like I said before, 1 mile. So we'll see where we start. Basically, the only thing I'm doing is removing this to expose the nut back there instead of just going underneath, which I could though. Not a big deal, but if you remove this, this will come off, and it's a little easier. And then the 13 millimeter socket there, and the same thing with that nut right there. This everything comes off. Pretty simple. Like I said, it's clean, so just pulling it out, and that's it. So we go ahead and remove this. I already loosened them up. Put them aside. This has a 13 millimeter nut behind it. And this one doesn't have it. This one is just all in one type of thing. So you don't have to worry about a nut on that one. So on this one here. So basically you should be good to go after that, and you'll see it installed. Thank you. Okay, so continuing with this, disregard the fact that I said to remove that. It's not necessary. So we can just leave that there together just to keep it all together. So basically all we have to do is just loosen that up. Like I said, number 13 millimeter. This one too, 13 millimeter. And this will actually come right out by just pulling it back a little bit. Just twisting it around, there we go. So basically it just comes out like that. So that's one piece. And then we can get ready to install these two pieces right here. Okay. So with this said, okay, so to align this piece and that one, if you were to look at it like that, this thing actually goes like that, all the way there, and when you put the bracket, it will all line up like this. So the exhaust itself will actually look like that, okay, with this particular piece right there. Okay, so let's continue with this endeavor. We have to actually put the springs first, which would be easier, and then we can attach this portion here with the bracket. Okay, and this may be a number 9 or 10 millimeter socket, which will be used to tighten this up, and we'll continue from there. Okay. Okay, so just an FYI, installing the springs, they are super tight. Okay, so in order to do this, you have to basically put the pipe against something that's not gonna get scratched, and then once you hold it there, have an assistant, if at all possible, to hold these tools for you together. That way you could put either a piece of wood or a piece of plastic in there. That way you could hold on to the exhaust. Okay, and then pull the spring to go over this. Now remember, This is gonna be like super tight, so I'm actually gonna put the camera down. That way I can have a little bit of leverage to do this, and then the spring should be able to go right in there. Okay, like I said, super tight, so just have an assistant help you out, okay? Okay, so this is basically how it's gonna look. As you can see, you can see the tension because they're bent like that, so that's like they're super tight. This piece right here is not gonna go anywhere. The actual gasket, a brand new gasket, comes with the exhaust piece. I mean, they don't omit anything, these people, which makes this exhaust, as expensive as it is, super fantastic quality, super heavy stuff, and this right here too. Okay, so we should be able to put this here just like that, and then attach it there, and then at that point, of course, have your resistance ready to go. Tighten that up by hand. Then you could do your bracket right up here, or if you prefer, do the bracket before you put it here. It'd probably be easier. What is your preference? I mean, whatever you feel is more comfortable. So, but anyways, just have your bolt ready. You got the pressure washer, then the flat. Okay, the pressure washer first, then the flat washer, and you get two of those, one for each one of these. Okay, so the one that you probably want to do first is the one up here, and then you should be able to do the rest by hand and leave it without being too tight. Just remember, if this moves back and forth, which you actually can do that, you could get this surface scratched, so definitely you don't want that. You want everything to line up properly, so we want to do that one first. Okay, and then install the nut back here, and then tighten these things as you have to. Okay, so that would be kind of like the result right there. It looks pretty amazing, if you ask me. So, but anyways, there's no shield or anything covering any of this stuff, so these surfaces here will be hot, which is kind of like a bad thing if you had a passenger. But then again, I'm not sure that anyone's gonna have a passenger on this bike. It's just for the show of it. So, but anyways, let's continue with this. Okay, so one quick observation here. This is the gasket. You could see it protruding from the edge of the muffler, or that extension exhaust piece. If you put it like that, once you place it in here, it will actually, because the actual gasket is just, if it actually fits loose. So if you put it like that, once you press it, the gasket itself, you see how it went in? That is the best way to put it before tightening any of these pieces up in here. You basically want to be sure that everything lines up on the edge. As you can see right there, you can see that gasket, and you want the gasket to be right at the bottom. That way when you tighten these up, everything crimps kind of like together, and there's no exhaust gases escaping into the swing arm or anything around here. Even though I don't really think it's gonna matter, but just for the sake of keeping it all tight, for sound or whatever. So anyway, just a quick observation that I made just now, so just to keep track of that, and everything should be a piece of cake. Okay guys, so this is the final result, nice and tight. So basically, the way this was done is that with this removed and this loosened up, okay, so that the gasket is not being crushed against the exhaust, okay, just moves a little bit. These two were tightened first, then this was put in place, tightened in place while the gasket and everything here is being held loosely. And then this was the last piece that was tightened up. But this piece right here, this bracket and the gasket were already somewhat crushed to fall in there in place. That way the gasket doesn't move. So basically, this would be first, tightened up first, all the way to the end, because there's this actually slides a little bit, or so if you put it all the way to the bottom or the bracket all the way to the back, that could be tightened to begin with. Then this one would be the second one that you do. Okay, obviously this has to be the first thing you do. Okay, and then the last part would be that. And as you can see, it's pretty tight. Okay, there's maybe like I would say like half an inch in there somewhere, and you'll hear it click. Once it clicks, you stop. You don't want to ruin the bracket or make it pop out, even though this is pretty strong, but you don't want to over tighten that either and ruin the gasket either. So we can give it a sound test real quick, and that way we can hear what it sounds like. Now, another thing is that we didn't install this piece that came with it. It doesn't show it in the instructions, but we didn't install it anyway. With it or without it, it sounded the same. So the only thing that will show was that baffle that's inside. Oh, you could actually see it. It's that metal plate over there. And my son really didn't want the bike to be super loud. I actually think it's louder than the original, but let's hear it to see what it sounds like and go from there. Okay, so that was basically wow, that's freaking loud. So that it is definitely sounding like a race exhaust for sure. Man, that is loud. I thought my 890 was loud, uh, but this one certainly it's up there on the decibels. So anyways, that should be it for now, guys. The iXil exhaust, the install was fairly straightforward, took like probably 15 minutes, and the video probably took 3 minutes, the stop and go. But other than that, I will be doing the 390, be doing other videos. I got like an entire set of stuff that I'm gonna do to that bike, including a decat, full exhaust, acropovic, and the whole 9 yards with that bike. Since I no longer have the 890, so I figured let me get an RC390 to hang out with my son on the 450 and kind of like get good at this stuff and go from there. Anyways, guys, until the next one, and we'll see. Thank you.